Alright, so there are 4 steps when you solve a linear or when you graph a linear inequality. So what a linear inequality means is that it has both x and y in the problem, like these. And when we graph these, we like to graph stuff when it's in slope-intercept form, correct? So you have to get it in slope-intercept form. But do you guys remember when we did inequalities on a number line and we had open or closed circles?
Yes.
When did we have an open circle?
When it was just greater than or equal. No, greater than or less than.
Yes. And not equal to. Good, take a point. When did we have a closed circle?
When it was also equal.
When it was also equal to. Take a point. So we're going to apply that same thing, except we can't use open circles all the way across a graph. That would be chaos. So instead we use solid lines and dashed lines. Use a solid line when it's greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, or equal to. And this foldable right here is going to help guide us on what we do. You use a dashed line when it's greater than or less than. And you guys remember that we also shaded above the number line? So if it was greater than, we shaded to the right. And if it was less than, we shaded to the left. This time, you shade above and below. Above means you shade above the line. So you shade above the line when it's greater than or equal to. And you shade below the line when it's less than or equal to. Did you get all 3? Satan? Does everybody understand so far? Like just the basics of what we're going to do. That's all I need you to understand. I don't need you to have a full grasp of the lesson yet. Alright, so you have 4 steps. The first thing you have to do is solve for y. So each time we're going to get y by itself. Then you plot points using slope and y-intercept. Next, you have either a solid or dashed line. And what do you think the final thing we do when we graph an inequality is? Shade. Take a point. And we get the color, and it's beautiful on these. Now, what is something that's very important that we have to watch out for anytime we solve an inequality problem? It changes the problem. The sign. The sign of what? Like the inequality sign? Kind of. But you said it, and it wasn't fractions. No. Negatives! Negatives, negatives, negatives. Watch out for negatives. Because when you have negatives, you flip the sign. Okay. Are we ready to solve a problem and see this in action? Okay. What's the first thing we need to do for this problem right here? We need to solve for y, so we subtract 2x. Good. So everybody subtract 2x from both sides. Can we combine that 2x and 12? No, because they're not like terms. Alright, so we write negative 2x plus 12. And remember, we write the 2x first because we always want our slope first because it's y equals mx plus b. And now, what do? Divide by negative 3. And what did we divide by? A negative. So what do we need to do to our inequality sign? You have to flip it. Flip it, flip it, flip it. Watch out for your inequality sign. So what is negative 2 divided by negative 3? 2/3. Take a point. And what is 12 divided by negative 3? Negative 4. Oh, I don't know why I switched colors. By now we should be pros at solving for y, correct? Even though looking at your math workshop test, we're not. Alright, so now we need to graph. We need to plot our points using our slope and y-intercept. So do we plot our slope first or our y-intercept first? Y-intercept. Okay, what is our y-intercept? So what do? Do we go up 4, down 4, left 4, right 4?
Down 4.
Down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, put a dot. Do not connect your dots until I tell you. Does everybody understand? Okay, so what do we do after we plot our negative 4? Up 2, right 3, because it's a positive 2/3. And I want you to go all the way across the graph until you can't go anymore. So I want you to go up 2, right 1, 2, 3. Up 2, right 1, 2, 3. We can't go any further. So now we're going to go backwards. We're going to go down 2, left 3. Down 2, left 3. Down 2, left 1, 2, 3. You have to go all the way across the graph. Go all the way across the graph. Go all the way across the graph. Do not connect your dots. Now, step 3 said to use either a solid or dashed line. So to figure out what you use, you come right here to your inequality sign. Does it look like this one or this one? The dashed line. So you're going to make a beautiful little dashed line. Like this. You're going to go tickies one. Isn't it amazing? And then, what's the last thing we do? Step 4 was shade. Now, we have to either shade above or below. So again, look at our final inequality sign right here. This is the one we always look at because this is where we solve for y. This is our leader. This is what we follow. Does it look like this one or this one? The top one. So are we going to shade above this line or below this line? Above, because it says above and it's greater than. So then, dun, 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 dun. And you can use whatever color your heart desires and make it beautiful. Please pick your feet up when you walk.
So Blair's is right.
Correct. Are we ready? Is everybody have any, does anyone have any questions? Okay, ready to practice? Let's do some on the back. Yes. For x minus 2y is greater than or equal to 10. I forgot to make some tea. Are we ready? Or do we need to move? Okay.
How do you do this one? The second.
Two sides of a triangle measure 10 and 14. Which inequality shows the possible lengths for the third side? It has to be greater than 14, right? When you add 10 and the other one together. So it has to be greater than 14. But then if you add 10 and 14, it has to be less than 24. Welcome. So you add the two, that gets you your biggest, and then you subtract the two, that gets you your smallest. The two sides that it gives you to get your range.
Okay.
So 10 plus 14 is 24. That's your biggest. Less than would be 10 minus 14 is 4. So that's your smaller one. And it can't be equal to it, right? Because 10 plus 4 is 14. It has to be greater than 14. Correct. Alright, so, sorry. I wanted to do this one together. Did you guys, if you've already started, did you subtract 4x first? If you have not started, please subtract 4x from both sides, because remember, our goal is to get y by itself. Alright, then we have negative 2y is greater than or equal to, can I combine negative 4x and 10? So I write negative 4x plus 10. Then what do I do from here? Divide by negative 2. Do I divide everything by negative 2 or one of the things? Everything. Do I also flip my sign? Because I divided by a negative. Alright, what's negative 4 divided by negative 2? 2x. And then what's 10 divided by negative 2? And we're ready to graph. So draw your x and y axes, please.
But this should be 59.
It can't be 5 because 27 plus 5 is 32. It can't be 59 because 27 plus 32 is 59. So it's got to be one of these. I would go with 7 because both of those, if you add it, it's going to be bigger than the third. But if you add these two together, it's not bigger than that, right? So it needs to be that. Alright, so where do we start on this? What's our y-intercept? Alright, so let's go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go up how many? And right how many? And then we do it again. Up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1 until you can't do it anymore. Now, are we going to connect with a solid or a dashed line? Solid. Why is it a solid? Less than or equal to. Yes. And are we going to shade above or below? Below, because it's less than. So below the line. Is this below the line? Is this below the line? Is this below the line? So take your beautiful marker and shade everywhere below that line. Questions? You going to do one more together and then I'll give you some to practice and then you can work on your study guide? Okay. B. Y is greater than 1/3 x plus 4. Caroline, are you with us? Alright, so do we have to solve this one for y? No, because it's already in slope-intercept form. So what can we go right to doing? Graphing. Alright, where do I start on my y-axis? Positive 4. So I go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what's my slope? So I go up 1, right 1, 2, 3. Up 1, right 1, 2, 3. And I'm out of room. So I'm going to go down 1, left 1, 2, 3. Down 1, left 1, 2, 3. I should have made this a negative slope so we could practice that. Super sorry. Ah, don't do that. I got excited. Don't do that. It's dashed. And why is it dashed? It's not equal to. We're going to pretend that that's dashes. Don't be like me. Alright, are we going to shade above or below?
Above.
Above, because it's greater than. And we're done. 2 to practice, and then you can do your study guide. Okay? Go team. Does anybody have any questions? Comments, gripes, complaints? I do not care. It is not your class period. No. Alright. Finish those 2 and then work on your study guide. Good job, go team.